Guys, it is the season finale of the Yu-Gi-Oh show. Oh my gosh, guys, this is season four. We've done this four times, and you know what? We're not going to stop. And we have got an epic legend here. He is currently in stasis, but he's about to unfreeze and make this the most epic show ever. Introduce yourself, bro.
Stand by, man.
Hello, everyone. It is me, returning from the great beyond, Golden Nova Yu-Gi-Oh! Wonderful to be back. How are we doing today, darlings?
Oh gosh, it's been so good.
Good to have you back, my friend.
Very, very good, man. We had so much fun last time. I think today's going to be a good show. Yeah, like, look, I'm getting ready, people. I'm getting ready for this. And you know what? I'm gonna let Dan tee this off with our first topic. What are we going to talk about to start off with today?
So before we got recording, me and Nova were talking a little bit about his content. Obviously, all of the videos on lore, all the research that he has to put into, like obviously finding all that stuff out. So first of all, for anyone who might not know who you are, Golden Nova, give us the 411 on what's going on with your channel.
Yeah, I'm Golden Nova Yu-Gi-Oh! My primary content revolves around the Explained series, where I take all of the known cards for a given archetype, run you through what each individual one does, and then give you a bit of a rundown about some optimal combos, some of the tech picks that you could use that are outside of it, because you might not know what other support is out there based on just the cards themselves. But time and card releases willing, I also get to do my one big love, talking about lore. I covered Dual Terminal, I covered Alabaz as that was coming out, and it's my favorite thing about this whole job. Explaining stuff is A-okay. It pays the bills. But when I get to sit down and like write out the scripts and make all the little connections, my heart sings.
Amazing. So, when it comes into actually figuring out the lore and stuff, I know when you were on here last, we discussed like some of your sources that you use to kind of piece things together, like the Konami official art and whatnot. How hard is it for you to make like a lore video as opposed to a video on an archetype breakdown?
When it comes to the archetype breakdowns, that stuff it's very much clear cut, right? I've got the structure down where I go, okay, here's the main deck monsters, here are the extra deck ones, here's the spells and traps, here's some other weird ancillary things that might be involved. So I've got like a structure going on for that one. When making the lore stuff, it's always kind of a toss-up. How much is largely known? How much stuff do I have to fill in? What kind of conjectures do I have to make? And it's different across different styles too, right? Like with the Albaz stuff, that was more about what do we know? What can we tell exactly from the mechanics and the art, and where does it go from here? That was kind of like my three pillars that I liked to work on. When talking about Dual Terminal, that stuff, as far as the segment that we're in, is pretty cut and dry. We're not getting any new cards in those particular time zones, those eras. So, but then there's not like enough to fill out a whole video. There's a lot of conjecture you have to make if you want to make a compelling story. So that has a lot more of a fan fiction element to it, where I'm actually making a narrative out of the existing material. And that can take like 3-4 times the amount of effort, especially when we want to make things like really crisp.
Yeah, I can imagine. And in terms of that process of creating it and doing it, did you like follow guides or something to get into it, or were you taught? Like, how did you even develop that process and get to the point where you're doing it at such a high quality?
For the explained stuff, I think that the process has largely remained the same since day one. I'm sure the comment sections will tell you that I'm basically like rank 10 Yu-Gi-Oh, but I actually post frequently. And I'm sure that I've stolen a lot of the structure from that and people like TGS Anime.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the lore stuff, I kind of feel like I just go by the seat of my pants half the time. I just kind of use what they taught us in like English class, like make your thesis statement. What's the important part of this lore that you want to convince people about? Figure out the different like evidence pieces that go into that,
Mm-hmm.
and then wrap it all up at the end to show like how all of that contributes to what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely will listen in English class because
Oh,
your
yeah.
your videos are a big part of my dinner times and things like that. So like, yeah, they do the job. They do the job.
Yeah. Yeah.
How often do you like within the comment section do you get people saying, "Oh, I didn't realize that was a thing," or "I didn't know that this meant that"? Because I find that quite a lot. Like watching your videos, I was like, "Oh, that I didn't realize that."
It happens all the time, and it is literally my favorite part about making all of them. Just like figuring out that you found something that someone else gets to come along and go, "Oh, what? You're telling me that Ashashian and Ad Libitum are the same person?" I'm like, "I know, right? What the?" That's probably a pretty easy one, but no, like just finding out like little things and then knowing that blew someone else's mind down the road is like, it's outrageous. The dopamine hit is unmatched.
Mm.
I think as well it gives a lot more meaning to the cards. I know it sounds a bit weird, but like it's cardboard. But like I look at
But it is art.
yeah, it is. But I look at Albaz in such a different light, knowing that there's a lot of history behind him. Whereas I pick up a normal monster and I can't wait to just get it in the graveyard. Like I look at my Albaz with like fondness. I'm like, oh, you've been through so much. I'm gonna normal summon you now.
It's got
No,
what we're leading up to.
And I don't even think it's silly. I think no, that's part of what I love about Yu-Gi-Oh! Like how the archetypes are their own stories, and it's like you can genuinely like if someone likes Albaz or someone likes Branded, like it's not just I like these cards because of the way they play. It's like no, there's lore and there's cool things happening in the background. So no, yeah, I definitely get it. I 100% agree. Yeah, it's one of the things I love most about Yu-Gi-Oh! Having said that, I'm not insulting anyone else's card games. I don't know. I'm sure in Magic and One Piece, I'm sure it's great. I'm just saying Yu-Gi-Oh! is also very nice.
Look, I know it might seem strange, a lot of people listening out there, and if you're watching right now, get ready, because I'm about to be like the sappiest son of a gun ever. But even though we're playing a competitive game that was largely popularized by a TV anime meant to sell us product, there's still a story here.
Yeah.
Like the things that you love about your favorite anime or your favorite games, you can find that in Yu-Gi-Oh! Too. And I don't think that that's like outlandish to be really attached to a card or a deck because of the story that's being told there. I think that's actually really important. No one wants to play a card game where I activate alpha, beta, gamma. It has effect that lets me draw a card. And there's like a blank card with no color, no art or anything. No one... People want competition too, obviously. But they, even though if they don't think they want it, they want the story.
This is one of the things that I don't like about Pokemon and Magic. I don't want to be drawing cards that are just pictures of blankness that do nothing. Every single card that I'm drawing in Yu-Gi-Oh, like it at least looks pretty cool, and there's at least a little bit of more thought gone into it. Shout out to everyone who plays Pokemon and Magic, but you're in the wrong game.
Well, it's even the spells and stuff where it's like you look at the spells and it's like, oh, well, a World Legacy was really good for it, and you'd have those like the spell when what's her name when like the evil fairy came and corrupted I've forgotten the chick's name now, but like I think it's World Legacy Secret where it's like you see her come to corrupt him on the traps, and then it's like there's another spell in World Legacy Memory where you see the dude trying to resurrect Galatea, and it's like little things like that are in the spells that is cool, and you actually want to look at it and like, oh, what's going on? Yeah, and you get
I'm right there with you.
It's
when they revealed World Legacy Memories and all of the scientists from the before time were each different members of the tribes that you could see in the current day, like you're telling a generational story about how we. Okay, never mind. This is a little podcast.
okay,
but it's exciting.
That was awesome.
Definitely. Speaking of World Chalice, we'll go into a little bit of TCG talk because I feel like we'd be remiss to talk about not talk about the UK Open. Shout out to whoever, I can't remember your name. I'm sorry, bro, but shout out to you for topping with World Chalice in 2024. You're a G. So Fabs, you went to the UK Open. Talk to us about your experience.
I really want to be honest. Okay, no, I went to the UK Open. It didn't go well for me. I don't know, X3 or something dropped, but the event itself was quite fun. It was one of the things that everyone knows is obviously we're in a bit of a tier 0 format, but I think because we're in a tier 0 format, people are you're in one of two camps. You're either willing to commit a grand to Snake Eye or you're not. And if you're not, you're doing some funky shit. Like, oh my days. I was seeing all sorts. Like, so Ahmad, so shout out to Ahmad, he came third. He did not play one Snake Eye the whole day. His round one was Drytron, his only loss. Yeah. And then it was like Drytron, Unchained, Brandon. Like, he was playing everything. Same with me. I played against a Goblin Punk Infinite Search deck. I played against Silent Force. I played it's like there was not. I played free Snake Eye Mirrors personally as well, which was annoying. But yeah, everyone was trying to do their best. And that World Chalice guy, so like his deck, oh my gosh, like seeing him batter players, like batter Snake Eye players, batter everyone, it was mad. His deck was designed really cool. And like if you've played, so if you're not familiar with World Chalice, the way World Chalice works is obviously like it's based around normal monsters. It's literally old school Rika almost, where it's like it's loads of normal monsters, and then they normal summon normal monster, go into Mduck, they normal summon World Chalice, which is like a level 5 monster, and that basically lets them do anything because it summons 2 cards from deck when it leaves the field. So it's like they sometimes they U-link you, sometimes they just make Appaloosa and stuff. And he was just battering players left and right. There was a time where he went second into a player's board. They had full board, Imperm and Nib, and he still OTK'd them. And it was like, what? this is World Chalice cards. And everyone's like, what's going on? Like, it was really cool. So it was nice seeing decks like that. There was obviously Branded as well. Josh Kelly was on feature match with Branded. That's cool. Yeah, all in all, it was a really cool event. And it really goes to show how the Yu-Gi-Oh community is kind of, you can be sad we're in a tier 0 format. You can be sad that like, oh, I have to play Snake Eye, but you actually don't. You can have fun with other stuff, and people still do. Like you are gonna be doing yourself a disservice if your only goal is to win. But if you want to have fun, play whatever the heck you want. People are performing and pulling out all sorts, and yeah, it speaks good to the future. And also shout out to Firestorm Games. This is a really nice venue. I mean, I don't know how the heck they fit 400 people in that store, but somehow they did, and it wasn't too bad. So yeah, really good event. Yeah, we had a good time. And it's also nice because it's like the biggest event we've had in the UK. Obviously, we have a drought here, so it's the biggest event we've had in the UK in like, I don't know, ages. I don't know.
Everyone was jonesing to get into the cardboard.
we were all really on it. But it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with the ban list, to be honest, because, I mean, again, it's very clear Snake Eye is so ahead of everything else. And Legacy of Destruction is coming out in a few weeks. I would be so shocked if Konami doesn't drop a ban list just before it, like they've been doing for the last few sets. So yeah. And also, I mean, I guess we can pivot into ban list talk a bit, but I think before we get to talk about actual ban list, how are we feeling, guys? How OCG and Master Duel both got a ban list on the same day that they knew about. Meanwhile, us guys in TCG were kind of like, yeah, ban list when? No, knows. What do you think, guys?
I've got 3 words to describe the situation, Fabs. They're mugging it. They're mugging us up in TCG. Master Duel get one all the time. They know when it is OCG. They get like announcements sometimes. Like, what's going on with TCG, man? Why did we get this? We used to have it in it.
We did. Funny, someone was telling me today. Apparently, we used to find out the exact day it was coming on. Like,
yeah. I think it was until about 2014. I want to say, maybe.
Yeah, I just.
Something like that.
I think for me,
I think
that's the biggest thing. Like, they've announced people know what to look forward to. They know that certain cards are about to get hit. With us, it's this weird limbo. Like, I'm seeing people selling like bonfires for like 35-40 pounds in the UK.
Yeah,
because people are panicking. They're like, oh, my card's getting hit. Wanted to just go. I'm seeing people just sell all.
They're not wanted in it. The wanted aren't wanted.
They're not wanted anymore. Which is wild. It's actually wild. That's what I think the biggest thing is. It's just that they've got players in a bit of a frenzy because nobody knows what's going to happen. It could happen tomorrow, could happen in 3 weeks, and that's the problem.
I think it's not even just that no one knows what's going to happen. It's also no one knows what's going to happen, both in terms of when the list is going to come in and what they're going to hit. So it's like there's just, you don't even know. Konami might ban kill Snake Eye. They might just be like, you know what? We've decided to do it. Brandon deserves to get the hammer. So it's like you just don't know what's going to go on.
Don't you put that into this world? Don't you generate that?
Do you know what's mad?
I already get this shit enough for Master Duel. I don't need it for the TCG.
But it's like everyone really has some like murder boner for Brandon, and I don't get why. Like, it's just today people were like, oh yeah, Sanctified needs to get hit and stuff, and I'm here like, really? Like, Branded, like, I guess Branded Fusion is a bit annoying when like Silent Force plays it, but other than that, I don't think it needs to be hit. Like, I think Branded is fine.
It's the most fine deck in existence. It's so fair. You don't like puppet locking? Fine, ban the puppet lock. I'll still play it.
Yeah,
Get rid of the actual problem card.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think that's the argument where people are looking to ban Sanctifier, right? Because that's the one that enables all the loot locks, not loops.
Yeah.
Because if you ban Sanctifier to play that IDO card, and then there's a DDD one,
I mean,
similar
yeah,
thing.
there's infinity obnoxious
Yeah,
things
yeah.
they can put on your board, yeah. But
Yeah.
to be fair, like I don't think branded players would care if Sanctifier went. I don't know. Like,
No, the deck was completely fine before it. It'll be fine
yeah.
after, I
I mean,
suppose. If it does get hit.
yeah, like I don't know. I would say actually one thing I will say about branded, I think, which is fair. I actually do think branded fusion could go to 201 and it would be fine, just because. Do you know what it is? Branded has so many ways now to get access to branded fusion or to start fusing that if they lose branded fusion, it doesn't hurt them. The decks that it hurts are decks like Silent Force and Chimera, which it irritates me when other decks get to abuse one deck's card. Like the most frustrating times when my opponent activates branded fusion is when my opponent's playing Silent Force. And then they summon a Jalgan, and it's like, well, okay, that's great. Can't really counter that. Yeah. So I actually wouldn't mind Branded Fusion going to 201 just to stop it being splashed in other decks, not because I think Branded matters if they use it. Like,
I think Branded's it's self pure. Like it's fine. Like they have like Cartesia and Quem and God knows what else.
And they're getting another card. We know they're getting another card this year as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So we'll see if it's a good card. But the deck that I actually I am a little bit biased. Okay, guys, so I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. So
it's going to be about Rescue.
No, well, technically, but not really. So I went to locals today, and I played Rescue Ace. I played 50 card Rescue Ace because I just embraced the brick and I said, you know what? I've got bare bricks in my deck, so I'm just going to increase the number of cards in my deck so the bricks matter less, and it kind of worked, I guess. But
valid.
Yeah, so I played 2 stun people today. Now, the first stun match was against regular stun, and it's like, that's fine, I don't really mind. And this is like Jalgan, Ecclesia. The second stun was Runic stun, and I hate the Runic cards with a burning passion. I think Runic is like, oh my... I have a video coming out. I've been working on it for the last month about bad deck design. I think Runic is one of the most fundamentally horribly designed decks in the world. And look, you guys better hope Konami doesn't hire me, because if they do, I swear every flipping Runic card is going to 0. You guys will be shocked. Yeah, it'll be a random list in the middle of the week, and you just see every Runic card go to 0. I hate that deck so much. Everything about that deck is obnoxious.
You are sending me on an emotional roller coaster here. It's like Brandon can get hit, Brandon can get hit, Brandon can get hit. Oh, but Runic's to 0. Oh wait, oh yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, that deck.
As someone who was like had been testing Runic for a long time before it was released in the TCG, and someone who played a lot of variants of Runic, that deck is fucking horrific. Like it's so broken. You don't need 18 instant fusions that are just attached to utility spells. Like what the heck is that? Like fountain that doesn't need to be in the world.
I think for me, my biggest problem with it as well is just I think that decks should be fun to play against and to play with, or even not fun. Even if it's not fun, it's like there should always be moments of high satisfaction for both players. So a really good example this is kind of a good example is Eternal Soul. I like the design of a card like Eternal Soul and Dark Magician, because the idea is that for the Dark Magician player, it's a really power point. A lot of your plays are based around that. But for the opponent, there's a clear target, and when you do that, you also get a moment of power. But then conversely, there's also ways where Dark Magician player doesn't lose from Eternal Soul. So the field spell, if you were to nuke their board, the field spell is going to summon out 2 monster. If they're playing Dragoon, it doesn't matter. Or they can play Dragon Master Knight, and then you can't even hit it. So it's like, I like that back and forth. Runic, as the opponent, there is no high moment. There's just he activated a spell, then he drew 3, then I tried to hit his field spell. Oh wait, I can't because he used a spell that is a monster negate and an E-Telly, and it also protects. Anyway, I don't want to spend the rest of the podcast talking about Runic, but Runic sucks. You guys are that video. I've got like 12 chapters on Runic and why it's a bad deck, and
which is a shame because I think like from a lore perspective, I think it's super cool.
Yeah,
like the whole generator Runic, like
I think generator is cool. Yeah,
storyline. I think it's so interesting, but
it's so unfortunate because every Runic splash deck I've ever seen seems like the coolest thing in the world. Runic for hire is like the epitome of I just drank 3 Monster Energy drinks and I'm about to whoop your ass kind of deck. It's so funny to watch. But if I've got to watch one more stun deck that now has infinite recursion slowly whittle away at me while being all like, actually, Tikbu is a fair and balanced card. Oh, wow, gosh, I guess you destroyed my fountain. Anyway, we don't read Jerry? Okay, that's really cool. Anyway, so I'm just going to keep milling. And you're done. Okay, cool. Sign the slip, please, and I'm out. Like, it's so frustrating.
That is actually what it's like, though. Like, that is the runic experience.
Yeah, terrible. I don't know what Konami was making when it was. So yeah, I think personally, like a wish list, I would 100% say Fountain to 1. I'd be like Fountain to 1 and like Hugin to 1 as well, because I think Hugin's also fundamentally annoying as well. I don't like the fact that you destroy when Hugin gets destroyed, she just puts herself back. It's like, what's going on? Like, I just killed that card. Why has it gone back? So yeah. Muzzle through deck. I don't want that card deck anymore. But yeah, have you got any more? Have you got? I was vexed. I was happy. My mates couldn't tell at locals because I'm like I was playing Rescue, so I'm happy when I'm playing Rescue. But I was very, very angry. But I just kept it in, and now you guys are feeling it. But yeah, have we got any other more wish lists for the ban list that we wanna see decks getting slapped up?
I think my wish list for the ban list is a release date. Honestly,
yeah, there we go. That's the Galaxy Brain take. Can we get back to this is when you can expect a ban list behavior?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, honestly, like obviously like nationals and stuff are coming up. I'm in a weird space right now, which I'm sure like a lot of competitive players are, where we've got Legacy of Destruction in 2 or 3 weeks. There's a ban list looming, so the current meta feels a little bit like, do you know what I mean? Like, is it worth playing? So, but I suppose if I did have a ban list wish, it would be, I don't know, some generic hit to Snake Eyes that's been said a million times. Just like, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Hits to cards like Calamities, hits to cards like the Runic cards, hits to cards that just got quality of life hits for the game, I think, is what I want.
Featherstorm can piss off as well. I don't know why that card.
Yeah, Featherstorm forget that card. Vile card.
God, yeah, what the
yeah, it's just...
You know what? I'm gonna send this to Callie. Callie, I was meant to say this and I forgot. I know what card you didn't want me to say. It's Talents and Thrust, and I think both of those cards should be banned. I do not like those cards. Yes.
I don't think they should be banned, but I hear the argument. I think
they should ban. I think Talents and Thrust are also just.
They need some more restrictions.
Yeah.
I don't think they should have printed it. I mean, Triple Tactics Talents is already like the worst card they could have printed ever. Like, it doesn't do anything half the time. And they had to print another card to support that card for you to search it. So it's like, what's the deal?
Yeah, the problem is Thrust.
You don't even hit them. They're bad cards, but, you know, I mean, you might as well get them out of here. They're giving us a bad name.
The thing about Talents is that it's like it's either one or the other. It's either completely unfair or it's really frustrating because it doesn't do anything. Dan, you just said something and then I think I interrupted you.
No, I think I was just going to say that it's just what you'd already said about Talents, to be fair. Echoing Nova's points, Talents and Thrust feel like such 0 to 100 cards.
Yeah.
Like, I've been testing Talents like over the last few days, and you either see it and it feels like you've won the lottery, or it feels like you've drawn it and you've just stubbed your toe on the bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that Talents literally single-handedly has me like making bad plays just to make my opponents play into it. Like, I'll have Wanted in my hand, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go to main phase and activate Wanted now. And it's like, just because I want you to hand trap me, because I know as soon as you hand trap me, you just lose because I get to look at it.
But a play like that is so telegraphed, though. Like, if you're activating Wanted in the main phase, like, you're wanting them to stand on the Talons and they know it.
But that's the problem is sometimes I only have Wanted in my hand, but I'm still gonna wait till the main phase, even though I'm playing into more, because I know all I have to do is resolve Talents and I probably win. And I think Thrust could be more. I think the thing about Talents is actually could be balanced, but I think the only way to balance it is to errata it, and Konami doesn't like errata cards, so it's just
You say that, but then Summon Sorceress got the treatment, so
yeah, true. The Summon Sorcerer errata felt so like random, right? Like,
exactly that. Innit? They just Konami just do what they want, and it just someone's on work experience. I'll change this, and they're like, yeah, we'll run with that. That's a great idea. Like, it's wild. I think with regards to the ban list, though, I'm more looking forward to the stuff that's coming off. I think Magispect to Kirin. I don't know why they're holding on to that card. Like, I don't get it. You make support.
Correct answer.
You make support, and then you leave all your friends at home, and then go off on a journey.
Support. Put a picture of Kirin on every support card as well.
Card, like, yeah. So like,
That's the downside of knowing the lore. Knowing that's like, oh, for this archetype, they're doing support. They've got what?
Yeah, like, yeah.
It's like that. It's like that meme where SpongeBob and Patrick are like playing outside, and Squidward's looking at them from the window. He's like, "Yeah, you're in that is."
Yeah,
I agree.
what the heck you doing
Cool
that
to
with
see
that?
some stuff come off. Was there anything else you were thinking about releasing from the list?
just that, and obviously Tidal as well. I've been messing around with Goldie. I don't know if it's gonna be viable in it, but it would just be a nice little addition.
Didn't even think about that.
So yeah, just I'm looking forward to the unlimited because we already know what the problem cards are, or cards that are just affecting the way that players are playing. So they're gonna get touched in some way or form. So I'm not even too fussed about those, and I don't actually think it's that bad, especially with some of the results that have been coming through now. But I just want to see some more stuff come off, basically.
Do you know what card I actually do want to come back? I actually think Shavara should come back. I don't even like Unchained, but I feel like that hit was so preemptive. It was like they were like the best deck in a really weak format for like.
You say that, but maybe like with the Fiendsmith stuff coming out in info, like maybe Shavara is really good in that.
No cap, I really feel like even if Unchained was 100% full power with all the Fiendsmith stuff, it's still getting rattled with this format by Snake Eyes. Like I don't think Shavara. Do you get it? I hear you. Yeah, that's what. Like I agree. Maybe it could. Be, I also don't think Konami is that their foresight is that good. I refuse to believe that Konami is planning a year in advance. They've never shown me any evidence that they can do this. Yeah. Ever since they banned Curious 2 formats after it was being used, I don't really.
That's so stupid.
I was so wild. We all just like Curious is banned now. Tournaments doesn't even play this anymore. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. What about you, Nova? Like, you mentioned you've not been playing the TCG as much, but obviously you keep up to date with it. So, what kind of thing are you thinking?
We gotta get Circular off the ban list. What the fuck is happening here?
I love you so much.
Can we like look? I'm as frustrated as everyone else sitting behind the Cybers player, like turboing out, Terror Hertz, Super Quant, all that kind of stuff. But like, yeah, so 8 other decks are doing like this. Why are we bullying the Cybers players?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna lose Shiggies at this point. We can't let that happen.
Shout out to Shiggies. It did feel so weird that they just banned it.
Yeah.
We here at Konami believe that 1-card starters like Circular and Sharvara need to be hit. What do you mean, Snash? What? That's it's fine. They're this little guy. They're level 1. The little guy.
Yeah, it's wild. That is actually wild when you think about it.
Yeah.
And just like Circular, it does a couple of things. Like it's got 2 effects that are very, very relevant, and it's just okay.
The funny thing is,
okay.
Snake Eye Poplar is literally Mathmech Circular. Like, again, guys, you're gonna see in my video, but Snake Eye Poplar is literally Mathmech Circular.
Fair, you're so right.
But it's just an archetypal Mathmech Circular. But for some reason, I don't know. Like, the funny thing is, when you look at Mathmech Circular, you can see why it should be banned if you just looked in a vacuum. But then it's like when you compare it to everything else around it, then it's like, it's the same as Electromite, where it's like, okay, yeah, Electromite is unfair, but then it's like there was like a million more unfair things. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Like if Poplar existed whenever the best deck in the format was Necros, then probably we should put a cap on that. Nowadays, when every other deck has I have a line to get 4 material on board and do whatever I want with them, maybe Circular's not the problem.
Yeah. I don't know why that card is banned. And it's also, I think it's a bit of a shame just because Mathmech kind of like went through this really like turbulent period where it's like they were trash for like the majority of their life cycle. Then they got Diameter and Circular pretty close to each other, which is awesome. But then it was in tier format, so they weren't that good. Then it was cash format, so they weren't that good. Then Circular got banned, and it's like,
Cyberstorm Access was this big like balloon archway with like, congratulations, Yusaku, you're finally meta, and then it bursts through the balloon arch, ready to drink some champagne, and all of a sudden there's people with like bats and stuff going, Cyber should be good. Shut up.
Oh my gosh, they took the piss. Yeah, I don't know.
They really did. But steering away from the TCG talk for a little bit. Nova, before the call, you mentioned to me that you've been playing a lot of Master Duel. Can we talk for a moment about how insane the grind for Master Duel Worlds is? like compared to the TCG grind. It's fucking wild. So I don't know how much you guys know about it. So I'll let know. Well, tell you.
Yeah. So this was popularized in Duel Links, but is a format that's being used in Master Duel as well. Whenever they have the Duelist Cup, there's this whole like week lead up to the actual event where you have to prove that you're good enough to be in this secondary tier, which feels odd if you're going to already throw people into a giant pool of, battle no matter what. But then once you get there, there's not like a tournament structure to determine who's best. If you win, you get some points. If you lose some points. There's no upper limit to how many you can play. You can just play from our second one of day one to the last second of day 3. Mm-hmm. And you are incentivized to play as many games as quickly as possible, which doesn't feel like, to me, incentivizing deck building that's meant to test the skills that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is trying to test. Whatever your thoughts are on what the game is like because of X archetype or Y archetype, the fact that you're incentivized now to just play as many auto-win going first cards as possible and hope that you high roll into them just so that you can clear a game, because if you can play 5 games the same amount of time someone can play 2 games, as long as you're winning 2 out of those 5 games, you're still ahead. You're not incentivized to play like long, grindy, interactive matchups. It's all about, do I have the floodgate? Did I pull the D shifter? And saying that's what it's all about is very reductive. There is still, you need skill to be able to pull that stuff off consistently. But combine that with the fact that it incentivizes people to just shut off from the outside world entirely and just play over and over again. I'm not even shaming, like, use your time off the way you want to use your time off. If you have nothing else that you have to do, hey, enjoy, have fun, have my blessings. But if you have like an important event that needs to happen, like, or you need to, if you have a choice between having to work or do this, and that puts you in this mind space where it's like, I feel like I'm missing out on this hobby that I love because I have to work, feels terrible. And heaven forbid you make an incorrect choice and you play that over something really, really important. Like, that sucks. And I don't like it. I don't think it's very healthy. It's not, say what you want about 9-hour-long regionals that are poorly run. At least there is a structure there that lets you play real-ass Yu-Gi-Oh! To determine who has the best deck. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. I'm sorry that was really, really angry there. But I legitimately think it's an unethical way to run your high-level events like that. It's really awful.
100%.
I think it's interesting the way you bring the comparison to the TCG. Like, I didn't actually think about it until about comparing it to like regional grind and stuff like that. Because I suppose, like, at least if you're grinding regionals, you're seeing different bits of the world as well, right? Like, you're not just like sitting in your room. Like, and it's probably more cost effective to just grind Master Duel sitting in your room. But I don't know, man. What do you guys think?
I feel like there's it's only catered to a very specific type of player. Like you said, going on over, like, who can sit there for that amount of time and play that many games and not have to do something? Like, do you get what I mean? Like, there's 3 days of literally just sitting in front of a screen and just playing game after game after game. Just not viable for everyone, or for most people, to be honest. You have to actually dedicate like a lot of time to do so, and that's not always feasible. So then, are you trying to grab people? Are you trying to like involve people in this cup, or is it you trying to exclude people by setting it up that way? It seems a bit confusing to me. Like, who is it actually targeting? Do you know what I mean? And
exactly.
That's my issue with it. I just feel like if I wanted to just jump in and compete, I've got no chance, because I probably can play for like 3 or 4 hours, and then that's a lot for me. And then I'm done. Whereas some people can play from like day one and just sit there, coffee after coffee, and just chain. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's interesting because even when I found out like that's how it is, like you just basically play loads of games, I was surprised. It didn't even make sense to me. I was like, that's how you qualify for Worlds. Oh, cool. I guess. But I mean, again, Konami is an interesting company. Konami, this is my like 50th plea to you guys. Hire me as a product manager. Your team is a shambles, and I will do a better job. I can confirm, like, this is not how I would make people qualify for Worlds. And I can't even think how it's even pleasant for Konami on their side, because I can imagine that it's like if you think of all the people who are going to be actually doing this activity, most of these people are going to be doing the activity are not only going to be the same people year after year after year. It's not going to be like people that make your game look good. Like you want, like when Jeff Leonard is the kind of guy that you see coming to a tournament, that is a good advert for Yu-Gi-Oh. When it's the same, I don't want to use any descriptions of this demographic that plays Yu-Gi-Oh because people will be offended. But when it's the same people year after year, it's not going to look good. It's not as good of an advert. I can't say
it does get a little bit like.
Yeah,
boring's the right word, but
yeah, I think boring is the right word. I think boring is exactly right. Again, it's cool. That's why everyone's, even though Jeff Leonard was playing what's arguably the most toxic deck that you can play, there's a reason why we all were supporting him. Yeah, like, and yeah. So no, I think boring's the exact way to put it. Like, it's just kind of boring to see the same guys win and win and win and win. But yeah, as with many things, I'm convinced that the reasoning behind this is probably not based on because we think this is the most effective way to do it. It's probably like they're locked behind policy or something, and that's why they're doing it like that. To be honest, does anyone know how other online TCGs do? Well, firstly, I'm assuming other TCGs have online worlds like for their apps and stuff, right?
I think Pokemon and MTG's got MTG Arena. I think Pokemon's got an official online simulator.
Does anyone know how they qualify for theirs? Maybe I'll do some research and figure it out because.
No,
yeah, I haven't really played any other ones to really know. My only understanding that I have off the cuff is that like Arena has like regional flights that you could do.
Yeah.
To like put you into a bracket for something. But that's a regional flight that you're doing online.
Yeah. Exactly.
So don't take my word for it, everyone. Make sure you double check. But my understanding is that like it is a tournament structure. It's huge because it's online. But they don't expect you to sit down and be like,
yeah.
Okay, I've resolved Runic again. Can you please surrender so I can move on to my next game kind of deal? I don't know.
But that's Master Duel. Though I will say the Master Duel actual worlds was quite interesting to watch, like more interesting. And I'll say as well, when you look at the people who did end up getting to the top, it was probably two of the best players in the world.
Yeah, of course.
It was Jesse Cotton and it sounds deep because there were other people as well in the teams, but yeah, it's Jesse Cotton's team. But like, yeah, it was like the two best players' teams. So on some level, it's like it never stops the best players, which is
Like looking at that, that's like Yu-Gi-Oh's Kobe versus LeBron. You might argue.
Yeah, literally, like like they are both fantastic guys, fantastic players, and it is I don't know, Anyway, Master Duel.
I kind of see where you're coming through on that one because they very clearly have put in the dedication to be as good as they are, but I think I think it comes to the front that both of those people are streamers. Yeah. They are already spending hours upon hours upon hours playing this game anyway. They don't have to go to a job to do it. That is their job.
Yeah.
So, like, we saw really good gameplay, incredible stuff. I would never ever say these two did not deserve to be here because they are at the peak of their performance.
1,000%.
But we won't know if there was some housewife in Kentucky who has like a mind for it. But we'll never know because they have 8 other jobs they have to do around the house every day instead of getting good at Master Duel. So it's like, we're not starved for good competitive content. They're out there. They're doing it. They're putting in the work. But there are people here who will be locked out invariably because of how they run these tournaments.
Yeah, very true. Which is not good.
It's not. It sucks.
Yeah. Andre, you were about to say something, I think?
Yeah, I was just going to say, moving away from Master Duel, I've got a few questions. Just a few from some subscribers. Normally, when I know we're going to get a guest on, I kind of just ask my community, what would you ask them if you had the opportunity to? So, hope you don't mind going over. This is for you. So,
well,
it's nothing personal.
I mean, I guess it is an interview podcast, so that's not really what we do in these kind of things. But I'm feeling jovial. Go ahead, hit me up.
All right. So, if you were to animate a Yu-Gi-Oh! Lore story, what would you like to see? And what story would you think could make a good series?
Okay.
You're not allowed to say Albas. You're not allowed to say Albas.
What do you mean? That was the question.
Everyone says Albas.
To be
Okay,
fair, everyone does
well,
love this.
if I
Yeah.
can't have my very special baby boy animated Chronicles, get on it. Don't just make this a teaser. I want my animated series. I would pick Dual Terminal.
Okay.
World Legacy does have a lot of cool stuff to it, but Dual Terminal has like ages of content you could work through. There's so much that not only you have as source material, but there are so many. The thesis behind making the living lore of Dual Terminal is that there's so much like stuff left unanswered or unexplored that you can make a whole ass story out of it.
Yeah.
World Legacy, on the other hand, we pretty much know everything about it. There's no holes and motivations because it was made more recently. They were better at telling these stories. Dual Terminal is what's our age rating here? What's our like 18?
I think we're well past the YouTube monetization.
It's
mark.
a bunch of dookie butt stuff. It's terrible. It's dumb. So Dual Terminal deserves an animated rendition because there's so much there you can expand upon that isn't in the cards already. So I think that would be a worthwhile endeavor on.
Okay.
That's a really good point, actually. I didn't even think about that when it comes to like the storytelling, not being up to scratch at that point.
Yeah, that's fair. One more question. Well, we've got two more.
Bring him on.
Who is your favorite YouTuber to watch? And it says bonus points for somebody who is not as well known because that means that they can watch them as well.
Excellent. Okay, so my boring answer is MBT. I don't know what it is. I think it's our nerdy white guy solidarity or some shit. But you know, every time I see him, I'm like, I must consume the content. For people who are not quite as well known, I'm always keeping up with Vampire Ian. She's always they're always making ridiculous deck profiles. They had a video essay recently about the ethics of turn skip decks and why we need to make sure to cool it off whenever it comes to like throwing insults about them. I think was a really interesting like philosophical diatribe. That was really cool.
Okay.
What was the name again? I'm looking for it.
It's Empire, so like vampire, but instead of fam, it's them. And then it's Ian, but it's spelled IAIN.
Okay.
They're like a VTuber, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen a few of their videos, but I didn't know about that one that you mentioned. I'll definitely be watching that.
Yeah, this is.
Oh yeah, they're bloody fantastic. Oh my god.
We need to get a VTuber on here.
This is quite interesting. I'll have to look at them.
There are so many cool ones you got to be looking. There's Empire's great. Hasher Brown is awesome. Mistress Doom is great. Man, Junk. Oh my! If you want someone who is off the walls, you get Junk VT in here right now. Like it's wild.
Definitely, we're definitely gonna have to be looking at that for next season. Andre, sorry, you had a couple more questions.
Yeah, just the last one. What's your pet peeve at locals?
Oh my god, thank you so much for asking me this. Thank you so much for asking me this. Okay, so my pet peeve when I sit down and I finish a game is when we finish. Generally, it's when I win, but sometimes it's when I lose because I don't know who these weird people are at. We'll finish up and I'll be like, hey, good game. And their response is, yeah, good game. I would have won if I had it misplayed.
I hate that so much.
And I can't do anything because we live in a civil society and I want to make sure that, we're not promoting dangerous stuff. But I want to I want to take their shoulders, sit them back down at the table and be all like, listen, buddy. Your misplays are not some kind of phantom, illusory presence that came in from outside of the game and ruined your gameplay. You messed up. That is part of the skill test. I won. And if you lost because you didn't misplay, don't do it next time.
That's so. I love that. That's so
I
good.
don't know what they're trying to accomplish with it. It's that whole like I need to make sure that everyone knows that I'm good at this game, and I've pinned my whole personality to being good at this game. So if I just make a little excuse, a little reason why I lost, it wasn't you that won. I lost. There's a difference. Ooh.
It says a lot about the player, really. It says a lot about the player.
Also, this is me being this is a bonus one that just makes me salty. If I'm in a commanding position and you win off of that, that's cool. Hey, that's part of Yu-Gi-Oh. Underdog stuff, it's anime shit. But if you immediately go afterwards, man, you had me there. Thankfully, I top decked that lightning storm at the end. Boy, that hit something in me. Like, that can happen. Don't tell me. Don't do that.
I'm very guilty of that second one. I can't lie. I'm so guilty of that. Like, it happens so often. It's like, I saw Airlifter again. I guess I won. Yeah.
And like, I know logically that second one, there's nothing wrong with that because that is the underdog thing. You must feel pretty excited to get that flip off the top and go, the answer. That's so cool for you.
Yeah, you know what the funny thing
I
about
don't need to know that.
My friend was playing somebody at regionals and I was sitting next to him and he did exactly that. I think he top decked Duster and he turned around to his opponent and says, well, if I put good cards in my deck, I'm going to draw him, innit? I swear. I seen the opponent just like scoop his cards up and just slowly just walk off.
I'm that person. That's me.
It killed me, but yeah.
That's
But it is very funny. I will admit, it is amazing.
You have reminded me, Andre. There was a question that Fabs put to us when we had Avram on about local stories. I've actually thought of a better one than the answer that I gave. So, Fabs, if you want to put the question to the firm.
I'll be real. I can't remember I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember what question I was.
Oh, is this because your little mate got the question for you, or was that one you made up? That wasn't from ChatGPT?
I can't remember. ChatGPT was putting in work though. Like, that was an epic episode, man. Yeah,
it was a good episode.
Well, just tell the story. Yeah, I can't remember what the question is, but yeah, tell the story.
I think the question was like, what's the maddest thing you've ever seen, or like at a locals in terms of like maybe gameplay could be something that happened outside. So I'll give you my example. I have I have lost my house twice while playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
What?
Lost your house?
But essentially, I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and my previous landlord. I'll paint the picture. It's round one. I'm against Nathan, branded mirror. I'm cooking him. Nothing major. Shout out to Nathan. But I think it's like the second round or something. Anyway, he's got his board up. I'm top decking. I'm thinking about my plays, and the phone rings, and I notice it's my landlord, so I answer the phone in case it's important. And he rings me and he says like, I'm thinking about selling the house and stuff, so you guys are gonna have to move out. And I'm like, oh right, okay. And Nathan's my mate in it, so like he's like, oh, what's going on? And I'm like, gosh, give me a sec. And I'm trying to figure out that I'm gonna have to move and try and get somewhere else to live. And I'm like, right, okay, can I call you back in like 10 minutes? Put the phone down. I'm like, oh shit. So I win the game. Drop and go home.
You're all branded after all, so we knew that.
Drop, win the game, have a massive, like, I'm sure anyone who's been in that scenario will tell you it is very hard on your mental state. But it ends up getting sorted. We don't end up having it's fine. Flash forward a year into the future. I'm at locals again. I'm playing against one of the locals boys. I'm playing, I think it was when I was on Centurion, so I wasn't putting a lot of brain work in anyway. My phone calls again. It's my landlord. It's about the same time. Like, there's no way lightning can strike twice.
Yeah.
Lightning struck twice. He rings me and says, "Yeah, I'm selling the house this time, so you guys got to be out in like 2 months." And I'm like, "Oh right, okay. Can you not like ring me when I'm? Well, why do you always ring me when I'm playing cards?" So
that's
jarring, isn't it?
That's
jarring.
It's kind of bad. To also hear that twice as well. That's yeah.
But by the grace, like, got it all sorted. Got myself a nice new gaff.
Yeah.
It put me off going back to that locals. I'll be honest.
But
Yeah.
What about that locals? It's not really working. Yeah.
That's why you don't see me up Dudley anymore. I can't be affording to move every so often. But that's mine anyway.
The ley lines are all like crisscrossing on that location.
Very
bad energy. The earthbound lines are like right there, being all like, "No, you're out of here. You're getting earthbound prison."
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's just the fact that it's happened twice. But that's my story anyway. Andre, do you have anything like?
I don't know if
Nothing's
I
happened to you
mentioned.
necessarily or something that you've
I don't
seen.
know if I mentioned it before, but I won locals without winning a game.
Oh my gosh, yes,
Okay.
you
Yeah,
did.
you was there and it like that was. Do you know what? You know what I was playing that day? Fire King. Like just, I think it was like pure Fire King as well. I was so excited. I was like, yes, I'm gonna test this deck. I'm gonna see what it's about. I'm gonna make some changes to it. I know the fire support's coming out, and I got a buy. I lost the game. I got another buy, and then the locals was over.
Yeah, it was.
And no, in fact, the guy that I lost to, he normally leaves after round 3, and he gave me the win, and then
Oh, so he was leaving.
yeah, he leaves, and then the
Okay,
two
that's
buys that I got were a win as well. So like I won locals and I played one game, and like
And you didn't, you
and
didn't win it.
guess what? I've never played Fire King since that day.
The best part is, so at that locals, they don't like doing 4 rounds. They like just doing 3. So it's like, I come downstairs because I was the one running it, and I was like, so guys, we can end now, and whoever's first place will win, or we can go to round 4. Everyone's like, oh yeah, it's fine, yeah, let's go. And there's loads of X1s, and I'm like, oh well, I guess Andre wins then. And obviously, he hasn't played a game. Oh my gosh,
It
that
was
ridiculous.
wild. That's the wildest
That's-
thing. But yeah.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
quite wild.
You should have done that as a deck profile on your channel.
I was
Yeah.
fuming.
Undefeated.
I was fuming. I've since then. Yeah, the maddest thing is since then, every time I go to locals, I take Fire Kings with me. I never play it.
But you
played
had.
Raid Raptors, but I can, and it's in my bag. But I refuse to play it just because of that day. I don't know why. I think something will happen.
That is weird. That is so weird.
That was a funny event. I can't lie. Yeah, it's quite real.
What about you, Nova? Anything? Any funny stories like that?
Oh God. So I don't know if I talked about this last time, but when I came back into the game, I must have been around. It was a couple of sets before Pendulum happened. I don't forget what year that is. So like 2012, 2013.
It's like hat format kind of times.
Yeah, around there. A new card shop was opening up right across where I was living, and they weren't doing Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, so I volunteered. And so for a while, I was TOing a locals, so I got to see a lot of stuff. And my 2 favorites are the wrong word. The 2 that stick out the most is one time around when it was a couple of sets before Duelist Alliance. It was the one that no one wants to get because it had like all the ghost tricks in there, like Phantom something. I think the Mystic Water Dragon came out in it.
Yeah.
But the big money card out of it was Evil Swarm Exciton Knight.
Okay.
Oh,
And and we ran into the classic situation where a kid gets the prize card, the wonderful chase card, and someone tries to be all like, hey, I've got this $20 card, really help you out.
Yeah.
So thankfully we were in a position where like the parent was close enough by to like notify us, and we said like, hey, no, we're not allowing this in our store. You can't we can't be doing that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So that was one really wild thing. The other story was that there was a father-son duo who would go to our locals, and both of them were very competitive. Like they played that and like Pokemon. And the son, I never had any problems with. Well-mannered, very funny, played mermails. It's what put level 7 water monster, the fear of level 7 water monsters in my mind forever. Title can stay banned because of that, just specifically. But the dad was the emotionally insecure, unstable one out of the duo, and I feel for that kid so much. It's probably why he was so well behaved all the time. Okay. There was one time where the dad was so frustrated with not winning against a kid that he like grabbed the kid's arm, and we had to be all like, sorry, man, you're out of here. This is it. Like everything else was like annoying. Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
That is mad.
Loved having the kid there. Once again, he was free to come by anytime. Dad can drop him off and go off and do errands, all that kind of stuff. But that guy, nah, that was zero tolerance behavior on that.
Out of curiosity, what sort of age range would you have put the dad at?
Oh, like late 30s, early 40s.
Old enough to know better, innit?
This was not like a young adult father.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he's not even at the age where you can say, okay, maybe he's a bit senile. Like, no, he's perfectly in the prime of his mental acuity. Like, that is
I feel for whatever circumstances life put you through where you did not understand that a card game does not warrant any kind of physical altercations with someone who is a quarter your age. But, at that point, I couldn't. You can't be doing that.
Yeah, that's odd. That is absolutely
That is
odd.
mad. That is so weird. The moral, I think, if you're a dad and you want to be a figure in Yu-Gi-Oh, who's liked a good figure of a good role model, I should say, you need to be like Jimothy.
You do.
He's the blueprint, man.
But,
The
guys,
blueprint.
you guys don't know about Andre, yeah? You guys don't know. This guy, he's not only a great role model in terms of being a dad and all of the, he's also like a fitness legend. We'll just be at locals and then he'll get on the floor and just start doing push-ups and shit. And we just all feel intimidated. And then he'll walk in it, the muscles are popping and shit because he's in very good shape. It's I'm saying he's a good role model. It's a lot of pressure to be in the locals while Andre is there. It's just, you just feel like, what am I doing with my life, man? This guy's just doing everything right. It's like, I don't know.
Should we set up like a fitness corner to start people can join in? Can we do that over there? I think that'd be really good.
One of my favorite stories about that is we were at a big event and I bumped into one of the boys who I think he was staying with Andre, and I was like, how's he staying? And he was like, yeah, it was all right. I had a bit of a weird one this morning though. I woke up at 7 or whatever. I was hungover. I'm there necking a Red Bull, and I go into the spare room, and Andre's been up for 2 hours, and he's doing press ups and all this, and it just really made me think about my life.
That is actually normal. That's actually normal behavior for me. It's quite funny. Yeah. If we go out anywhere as a family, my wife does not book anywhere that doesn't have a gym.
You're gonna find a place and you're gonna do those curl ups.
Yeah, I'm just going.
Yeah, hey, hey, fantastic.
I'm in it though. I'm in for it. Yeah. That's the Andre appreciation out there, I think.
well deserved, I should think.
100%, definitely. As this is the season finale, before we roll into an Am I the Asshole, Fabs, I did actually have a question that I thought about that I wanted to put in form, and it's a question I think we've talked about before, but it's a bit of an extension on that. So obviously we've all talked about what made us get into Yu-Gi-Oh, all of that. What was a moment for you that sticks out where you thought, actually, you know what, I love this game? Is there a moment to any of you that sticks out as that was when the penny dropped that you were like, yeah, this is the one for me?
I'll go first, mine's really quickly. It's when Rescuers came out. That's it. Yeah,
sure, was it actually?
Genuinely, you guys think I really like Rescuers. That's it. Rescuers came out and I was like, this deck is so cool. And
I thought yours would have been I don't know, when you...
There's been other moments, but none have really clicked as much as just the... Before this format, I had the most fun with Yu-Gi-Oh! That I have ever had. It's not even close. I really, really enjoy playing the Rescuers deck. I find it so fun. I find it cool. So it's literally, it's just that the entire, I was like, that's why, the amount I traveled in the last year is crazy. I if you guys don't know, I'm terrified of flying. I'm so terrified of flying. I have a horrible fear of heights. But last year, not including work, I went on 6 different flights because of Yu-Gi-Oh!
That's big,
Yeah.
That's a motivator.
That's
Holy
wild.
cow.
Yeah, and out of those 6 flights, 4 of them were when Rescuers was a deck. So yeah. For me it's Rescuers, but yeah. So,
it's awesome.
That's valid. That's actually sick to know, to be honest. It makes a lot of sense why you like it so much then now.
Yeah, that's right. For me, it's quite easy. I'm a bit of a boomer, and I realised I love Yu-Gi-Oh! When I flipped Slate Warrior and it got its 500 attack boost.
What?
You probably thinking what card that is, yeah?
Don't explain it to them, Andre. They don't understand.
That's what I'm saying.
Come on. Get out.
Yeah, Slate Warrior back in the day, that was my thing. Yeah, flip Slate Warrior.
Okay.
And Jinzo's also my favourite card because I always used to lose to Mirror Force. So I was just like, yeah, I can't deal with that no more. So tribute summon Jinzo. Yeah. So yeah.
Android Psychic Soldier has none of that.
oh my gosh.
So yeah, that's me.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Nova, you have the floor.
So I have a terrible memory. So I'm sure that I can't recall the moment where I knew Yu-Gi-Oh! Was my own thing. I have plenty of like memories of like growing up in high school, finally learning Gladiator Beasts, getting my first win off of the guy who brought Teledads to the lunch table, all kind of stuff.
So, side note, bringing Teledad to the lunch table, that's brave.
My mother had like dads and like Mallies, like everything short of Crush Card Virus. This man was like on.
Wow.
So it was,
and he was just bringing that to the lunch table.
He's flexing,
but,
man.
you know,
Flexing.
But hey, when you go Dark Arm Dragon, Banish, and you're all like, ooh, Gladiator Beast War Chariot. Sorry, buddy. OTKing you. Very
works.
crisp.
That works.
But I know the moment that I found out that, not that Yu-Gi-Oh was like the thing that I loved doing, but I figured out when I knew that Yu-Gi-Oh was so important to me in my life. Have I told the Madolce story here?
If you have, let's hear it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
So it was during one of the times that I would get back into Yu-Gi-Oh. Up until that time where I said that I was running that locals, it was very like on and off for me. And this must have been around when Dragon Ruler Spellbook was a big thing, because Black Whirlwind just got unbanned. And the last time I was playing, I remember Blackwing being the big, the big dogs. Like if you were playing Blackwings, you were winning. So I'm like, oh my god, I can now win. Because, at the time, that was the mentality. If I have the cool cards, I shall be the one winning. And I took that to the regionals, and I played. There's a funny, additional story about how I dueled against someone who I thought was an unkempt mess, and then it ended up being Billy Break, but that's a story for another time. After 4 or 5 rounds, I noticed that my deck is gone. I'm a very forgetful person. My parents will tell you I have a history of losing the Game Boys over and over and over again on places. So, and it's even worse when you're out a regional where there's some semblance of people out there who are sniping for cards. Gave the description to the TOs. They tried making an announcement. Nothing came of it. I was devastated.
God damn.
It was the worst. The friends who were with me at the time then dedicated every moment between their games, going through binders, pulling out Magellines and Hoot Cakes and Chateaus, and being all like, hey man, this sucks. Here, let's get you something else that you can play again. It doesn't feel right that this happened to you. And that's sitting there and OTKing your opponent or pulling off this really powerful combo is mechanically very fun. It's mechanically very Yu-Gi-Oh! But I can't think of a moment that existed in my experience with this game that has exemplified the core values of what the game tries to teach you in that moment. Maybe you don't get that from actually playing the card game, but all of us who grew up watching the anime know that your personal skill and energy will only take you so far. Your friends and your family are what's going to pull you through some of your darkest, deepest moments. And in comparison, of course, losing a stack of cardboard is not I'm not going to lose my house over it. But when you're a teenager and that's what you've pinned yourself to, seeing all of these people come together and be all without any expectation of being paid back or anything, they just wanted to help someone out who was really down in the dumps, is just the moment I think that I knew that Yu-Gi-Oh! As a story and a concept was important.
That's fair.
That's a really good story.
That's crazy.
I think so. It really does bring people together. There's a lot of salt that can come out of this game, but I think a lot of it is because we care a lot. And deep down, we know that it's the groups that we travel with to regionals, the memories that you build whenever you have to pile up in the car and drive 14 hours to the regional, go X3 drop, go get a late lunch and then drive all the way back home. Because not everyone's going to win a tournament. If you go to regional, top 64 people out of 1,000 are going to feel like they actually accomplished something. Yeah. But for it to be a meaningful experience for more than just that small slice of people to come together and bond like that means that we may not have won the deck box or the invite, but it was an adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
yeah, I really feel like that's what makes Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, I can't lie. And that must have been an emotional roller coaster as well. I can't lie. Like you leave your deck and then that's a lot.
Especially like when you're younger as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But then to have those people also kind of back you after that and like get your stuff back or give you stuff back. And well, back in the day, how expensive? Because I know Madolche used to be. Was that when Madolche was like crazy expensive?
It was like Magdalene's were like 30s or 40s or something.
Yeah, like
the people who were all like being all like, nah man, we gotta like that's like what really made it like big. They didn't put together like Morphtronics or something just to get it shut up. They were all like, no, here you go. We want you to play again. We don't want you to just kind of like hang around and dirtle around with, oh man, I'm gonna roll a dice again on cell phone or something.
Yeah.
They wanted to make sure I could play it, and it was yeah.
That is really awesome. Gosh.
Yeah. Especially that I recall you telling that story last time, but it's such a good story, and it was better this time that you told it. So it just gets better every time.
Yeah. The thing I can't lie, I'm thinking in my head is, I'm going through my head of the friends I have, and I'm like, how many of them would I have been the good guy in this scenario? The cards, and it's like, I don't know, because you have some really good friends around you. Yeah, I'm really going through the list, and I'm like, oh, I want to do it for him. Maybe.
Yeah, I just thought of one or two people. I'm thinking,
Yeah, I'd be like, anyway, round one. Where's your deck, Judge? No, but it's really cool. It's nice to have it, and I agree with you about like again, some of the most fun parts of Yu-Gi-Oh aren't even playing the game. It's just like meeting good friends stuff. Yeah, that's something I'm really happy for as well. Like I've met a lot of people, like everyone on this show, I've met through the game, and I would say that's most of the time that's more enjoyable than the game itself, to be honest. Yeah, that is definitely really awesome.
100%.
But
and that's the fascinating thing about it. And not like playing the game takes up so little of our experience with it, but because we know this kind of like meta language about how the game is played, we have our own lingo and situations, and any time that we get to joke about having done too many things and a giant rock falls out of the sky, all three of you know what I'm talking about. We all have that kind of shared like mimetic knowledge that lets us bond in a way that otherwise we wouldn't be able to. Yeah, I think that's beautiful.
Definitely.
100%.
Really awesome.
And I was able to say that in a sentence where I said mimetic. So, anything is possible.
Do you know what? That was such a wholesome way to end that topic. I think it's only right that the final one of the season, don't you, Fabs?
I'm ready to turn into a big ass. I'm the asshole right now. Hands that right now. That's me.
I had a good one, but I don't want to use the one that I found because it's serious. So I'm looking for a less serious one.
There was one that I found earlier that I can pull out if you want.
Yeah, let's go with that one.
It's am I the asshole for stealing a Madolche deck at a regional?
Weird. Oh, that feels very familiar.
It's a bit of an older post.
Okay. Right. We're going to listen to this one. Right. So it's, am I the asshole for ending the call when my friend told me their dog died?
Okay.
So yeah, it's right. I am a male 27-year-old, and I have two friends that are a couple. One is a 44-year-old guy. One is a 44-year-old guy. They have been together for around 20 years, and I've known them for almost 6. They had a dog that recently passed away, and they called me to let me know. Now, some background information for context. My mom died when I was born and my dad when I was 8 due to alcoholism. After that, I was taken by my grandmother and she passed when I was 20. I have no siblings. My friends had their dog for about 12 years and of course they loved him. I can see how they'll be devastated by his passing. My problem came when they called me to give me the news and asked me how to cope because I have experience because of how many relatives I've had to say goodbye to. I was taken aback and put off guard. I was surprised and put off guard when they put it like that. I don't know exactly what it was, but the comparison didn't sit well with me. I told them, "F you assholes, it's not the same," and hung up. After that, I realized I was kind of rude, but I thought to myself, if they apologize, I will too. 20 minutes later, one of them starts texting me saying I was an asshole in my reaction and I had no sympathy for their pain. I didn't answer. Then they doubled down by saying I was an idiot for not even responding. I don't feel it was appropriate for me to tell them that. I don't think it was appropriate for them to tell me that. It didn't make me feel good. And while I was ready to apologize before, I still think they should apologize first. Am I the asshole for the way I reacted?
This is heavy.
Nope.
But
Okay. So obviously, in a situation like this, emotions are riding high. It would take someone with a heart of stone to walk through that and not get heated about stuff. That being said, the poster is absolutely right to be upset about here. What is it makes sense to lean on someone, a friend, in a situation like this. But when you frame it as, well, your life situation is very useful to mine right now, could you expound on that so that I could use you for this situation? Man. Nuh-uh. Cool the jets on that one.
it is techie. It is techie. Andre, you jumped to an answer straight away.
Do you know what? I've got quite a bit of life experience, especially with people passing and that. But I would just say, at no point should you be apologizing for your emotions. You feel the way you feel. That's it. That's raw. Do you know what I mean? If they'd approached it in a different way and they tried to explain themselves, maybe it would have come across a little bit different, and it wouldn't have garnered such a harsh reaction. Do you get what I'm saying? I think it was just the way that it was poised to him. It just made him feel like you're a little bit inconsiderate.
I just want to give some context that he put as an edit. He said when they called, the first thing they said wasn't kind of, "You've had death, blah blah. How does it feel?" The first they told him the news. The guy said, "I'm sorry to hear that." Then he asked about the dog, and they chatted a bit, and said it must have been sad to put the dog down. And then they asked, "How do I cope with it?" Because you've experienced it as well. But yeah, sorry, carry on.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Change that answer.
It's still pretty close, and I agree 100% with what you're saying, Andre. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's just my argument. And then I feel like the follow up stuff as well. Like if they know that of him, and then they're saying, "Oh, you're an idiot for reacting that way," or "I can't believe you would have did that." Too right, you shouldn't apologize. Like his intentions were pure. Do you know what I mean? And it was just a raw emotion at the time. Like just like when you step on a nail, the first thing you do is get angry and swear. And do you know what I mean? You don't. It's not directed at anybody. That's just the emotion at the time. After you've dealt with the issue, you can kind of think about it and say, you know what, I shouldn't have swore then. Should have used another word. It's one of those situations. But yeah, he's not an asshole. He was right in the way they reacted, and I can't believe if they know that about him that they would even consider to message him and say
it is quite insensitive.
Yeah, it's a bit insensitive, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is my take on it.
That kind of adds to that whole idea, right? Because the second they stopped being useful insofar as being an emotional conduit to talk it through, immediately it was like, "You're a jerk, you suck, you're an asshole," kind of stuff. Yeah. That kind of adds to that feeling of, wow, maybe they were treating me like garbage. But hopefully after a while, cooler heads prevailed. But in that moment, yeah, I hang up, buddy. I'm with you.
Yeah, it's a bit rough. One thing I will say about this, don't think it's. Let me word this properly. I don't think it's fair to compare people's struggles necessarily, because, for an example, I had a maths teacher, and I was upset about something, and he said to me, "Oh, I used to teach a kid who had no arms or legs, and he was happier." And I was like, "Well, how does that help me now?" And that was a point in my life when I was like, you know what, you can't really compare a lot of things like that, in how it makes you feel. I'm waffling. Obviously, people are very close to their pets. I'd be devastated if my cat died. Just a very basic white girl thing of me to say, but there you go. But at the same time, they rank him specifically because they thought he had a lot of experience with death. That's rough. And for someone who's had that much and that many close people, like, that's a lot in it. Like, I imagine that if I'm lucky in the sense that neither of my parents have passed, but if both of them had, and someone was like, my dog's died, like, how do you cope with death? I'd be like, with the greatest respect, it's a bit different. Like, not that it's not different, but do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I don't think he's an arsehole for feeling how he felt. He could have worded it better, but like Andre said, like, when emotions are raw, innit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think
Perhaps what say you?
I'm in a slightly different position to one of you guys. I think. Okay, so here's the first thing. My preface is by, when it comes to animals, you guys don't understand how little I care about animals. Okay. Yeah, so I want to preface this.
We had this same conversation last time with the cat one. Okay,
yeah.
All right.
Like,
Sorry, continue. Sorry.
I don't see a dog or a cat as a hamster as a human. So even when you hear my point and what I think about this, understand that I don't even care about animals. Like, it's a dog. To me, it's not that far removed from food, to be honest. Like, genuinely. So
this is a whole different conversation, but go on. I'll get what you mean.
Yeah, but my point, the point I'm trying to get across is that I don't care about animals. Having said that, I think that he's a little bit of an asshole, and it's kind of linked to what you said, Dan. Now, I do agree with what Andre said. I do agree with what Nova said about that you can't control what you're feeling, and I don't think it's necessarily he's an asshole for reacting negatively straight away. But I really agree with what the point you made, Dan, that everyone's grief is different and based on your own experiences. And the example I always give is this is like, when you take a 2-year-old's like toy truck away from them, they're gonna bawl and they're gonna scream, they're gonna feel horrible. And that's because that is the worst thing that's happened to them. Even though as a 20-year-old or as a 30-year-old, as a 40-year-old, there are way worse things. From their perspective, that is the worst thing that's happened. And so that's why you can't measure
everything by the same yardstick.
Yeah, because we've all got different experiences.
Yeah.
And so while I don't rate a dog, and it's like okay, so your dog died, whatever, I don't care. I understand that they're in their process of mourning, and I don't even see it as they were coming to him in a malicious way. It may have came across a bit insensitive, but I almost see it as like, I'm going through something. Maybe you can help me cope with this. I know how some people are with their pets. Again, it's like, I don't personally get it, but I know for some people it's like, to lose their pet is a lot. And so that's why for me it's like, I don't think what they did is that bad. I think that as well, this is a wild thing to say, but I do think it's true. Yes, it's a pain to go through, like, to lose someone, like to lose your parents and stuff is a lot, but I think there's a period of active mourning people go through where it's like, if this was like a year or so, or kind of a short time after his parents passed, then it's like, yeah, don't even bring it up. But it's not. It's a couple of years past. Of course, it's still going to hurt him every day. Of course, it might be something he cries about every morning. But the point I'm making, that it is something that's in his past. This is something they're actively going through now. And so that's why for me, it's like, I can kind of understand them come to him and just being like, help. They're basically saying, help me. And it's not like as well, these are strangers. These are your friends. He described them as his friends. So that's why for me, it's like, I feel like I could understand him, for example, getting vexed straight away and reacting, then being like, I get it. I'm sorry.
It's the follow-up in it that makes an arsehole.
And that's my problem with it. Yeah. So it's like, I don't think he's a huge arsehole. I don't think it's like, this isn't a situation where I think everyone's a huge arsehole, but I think the couple that lost a dog, I don't really see them as assholes at all. I see them as people who are going through grief. And I think he overreacted a little, not even, I won't say overreacted, but I think he was a little bit of an asshole and just not having, in my opinion, a bit more compassion in that instance. I really feel like he could have. Because again, if someone called me, in fact, no, I'm saying if someone, my best mate, I remember when he told me his cat died, and it's like, in my heart, hopefully he doesn't watch this episode, I did not care. I was just like, yo, it's okay. That's the
right. I'm going to remember not to tell you if my pet's died.
Yeah, lowest on the list when it comes to pet related.
But the thing is, though, when he told me, while I didn't care about the cat, I cared about him and how it made him feel. And it's like I made an effort to be around him that night, and like we played some extra games and just like be an extra bubbly person because I wanted him to feel good. And
That's
I
valid.
just kind of see it the same way. So that's my kind of take on it.
Yeah.
Just as a bit of a devil's advocate, the only issue with that is they have no insight into if he's resolved those feelings.
That is very
and
true.
that's the issue. This is me talking from experiences. I'm quite a mellow guy, but there's been a few things that I've had to go through, and people can approach you with not a lot of tact because they just believe in their heart of hearts that they're going with good intentions, and good intention doesn't mean that you're doing the right thing. Do you know what I mean? So maybe they could have worded it better, like in my opinion. And if they're asking such a sensitive question, there are things that they needed to double check. They need to do their due diligence. Like, how are you feeling now about it? Like, is it okay if I ask you a question? Do you know what I mean?
I agree with that.
And I know they're friends.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I know they're friends, but it's just like there's a way that they could have done it where it might not have garnered that reaction from him, especially if they knew him. Like, if anybody asked me for something, then they'd know how to approach me about it. Do you know what I mean? Rather than just like fire away. So yeah.
I actually really agree with the point you just made. That like a really good way to put it is, hey, like, I'm going through something. Can I ask you something? It might be a bit personal. I actually very much agree with that. That probably would have been a better way for them to go about it.
Yeah,
so
of course, yeah.
And then obviously not react afterwards because I'm flipping tables.
But then going back to what Fab said, though, if they preface that by saying, "Do you mind if I ask you a little bit about it?" Like, it's not coming. Like, I'm not intending to be disrespectful. While it may still be disrespectful to ask, you know that they've come with the best heart, and while I do wholeheartedly don't amaze me doing the wrong, that would at least soften the blow, right?
Definitely, I think. Yeah, it'd be easier to deal with. But yeah,
that was heavy. That was heavy.
Yeah, I told you I didn't really want to do it because it was a deep one, but I think it was a good discussion. I think
100%.
So this wasn't the replacement one. This was the one that you had.
This was the one. Yeah.
Okay, I was about to be all like, I don't want anything too heavy to end this thing off on. Oh, I know, dog death.
Yeah, the thing about I'm on the arsehole, so I'm on it every day. Yeah, for me, I was like, dog death? Yeah, great.
Fine. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just disclaimer, guys. You know, I can't even lie. There's no disclaimer. Yeah, I can't lie. If your pets die, it's your thing, man. I was gonna do a disclaimer, but I'll be lying. But hopefully your pets don't die and all these things. And yeah,
I mean they will.
Yeah, but
Not to be morbid. It's
inevitable.
You know what? This is a whole different rabbit hole. And on that,
on that great note, we'll enter this episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Show season 4. It's been absolutely fantastic, guys. Look, very, very, very appreciative. For the 100 or so, 50 to 100 or so people who watch. I'm always going to be eternally grateful for you guys watching. If it wasn't for you guys watching, I wouldn't be able to meet awesome people like Golden. I wouldn't be able to work with awesome people like Dan and Andre, and it's really, really cool. It's really cool. I'm quite happy with being able to do this. I think as well that it's been a interesting journey in the last year. I think doing this show, we've really changed from where we started. I feel like we've developed the show into something a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and it'll be cool to see it get even better and better. So again, if you're watching this show at this stage, it's an hour 20 minutes in. We're like 80 episodes in, and you're not subscribed. I'm coming to your house and it's on. Like we're actually scrapping. Yeah, subscribe. Yeah, like you can't have not subbed by now. You're taking the piss. Yeah, so you have to sub by force. Yeah, just click that button right now.
Yeah. We
This is what gets me. Have you seen now when you say subscribe in a video, if someone's watching it, the subscribe button will do a little twinkle.
Wait, does it?
Yeah. They literally it listens for it, and when you say it on their end, it'll go. So, folks, I'm just saying, YouTube is already like pointing you in the direction. You already know where to press. Just press it. I'm asking you as a personal favor, if you are showing up here because you wanted to see more of my stuff, and you saw this and you're like, "Oh, that's cool. It's a one-off thing, whatever." Just for me. No pressure, but for me. Just go ahead and press it. Just go ahead.
And also, Nova has been a previous guest fan, so who's to say he won't come back?
I'm honestly, you didn't call me sooner, so maybe we can fix that next time. I'm just saying.
You know the funniest thing as well, by the way, with this season, one of the things that we did, which is so crazy, is we were so organized that we booked almost everyone in like January.
Yeah, we
Yeah, I remember
literally-
getting that text in January, being all like, "Damn, these people are on top of it, man."
Yeah, we were like, we're gonna be on it. So like, we had everyone. It was the same with Yeah, where it was like 3 months before. I was like, "Hey, are you free in this thing?" He was like, "I don't know." He was like, "I don't even know what I'm doing next
Yeah.
week."
I think that was a similar conversation we had, Nova. I was like, "Are you free in like 4 months?" And you were like, "Probably."
Most likely, yeah, as long as I know
Yeah.
ahead of time.
So yeah, we'll try and be this organized for next season. But yeah, we'll take a little bit of a break. It's gonna be Euros and all of these things. There's definitely gonna be some TYS content. We've got some interesting things planned. We've been planning some cool things. So yeah,
Definitely,
you guys will
definitely.
see.
But this is amazing. Nova, before we leave, do you have any shout outs?
Oh God, I always forget to do my shout out for stuff. Go watch The Living Lore of Dual Terminal. Just go do that. Just I say at the top of everything. Public service announcement. Do you know that despite the fact that the lore videos are the funnest and most enjoyable and most well-known things that I do, I put myself at financial risk every time I make one of those episodes.
Wow.
So make a difference. Yeah, they don't get a lot of. I don't know what's going on here with that. So there's my e-begging for today. Go watch my lore stuff. That's for me. I know we mentioned Vampire Ian earlier. Definitely go give them a watch. All the VTubers I mentioned, there is such a huge section of the VTubing community that loves Yu-Gi-Oh! But I feel like outside of a very small branchways, like of course MBT and Danny hang out with Leah a lot. They work with Asher for some of the circuit series. But there's not a lot of like connection between us and VTubers when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh content. And I feel like there's like a lot of connections that are ready to be made there. So go out and watch some VTubers, okay? I guarantee you. I know that a lot of them are doing like the sus stuff, funny haha anime stuff, but like legitimately, there's a lot of heart in there, and they have a lot of fun with it. Okay, so definitely give those a watch. If you have any like misgivings about them, I'm asking you to put them in a bin and go watch a few of them.
Definitely, man. Yeah, I've literally got it tabbed out on Vampire's video about turn skip. So yeah, that's gonna be my I'm so tired, man. I'm struggling to string together.
Oh, it must be really late over there. Yeah.
It's like 10-1. I think where we are now.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely it will be good to have some more VTubers in the community and watch some of their videos. Yeah,
100%. And remember to subscribe to Golden Nova, Jimothy, Fabs, and not me because I don't have a channel.
yes, but I'm gonna convince them to start a channel. So yeah,
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
What if
might
I
get a
said, "Wait, pretty please"?
You might get a Sanctum Squad video once every 6 months. But anyway, this is different topics.
yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. We will talk to you in a bit. Peace.
Bye.